Well, actually, it did. Thank goodness.
Yeah, because you said, I'm hoping this is for a reason. And
And it was for
it
a
was.
reason. Yeah. Well, listen, for the listeners, you've just come in. We may. We've
You've
just
come in halfway through a chat.
come in halfway through a chat. But you know what? It's actually a good thing to touch on. By the way, I'm Hannah. She's Maddie. Welcome to Untidy. Thrilled to have you back. So, guys, just to fill you in, I won't go through. Do you know what? I will say it. I will say it. It was my fault. I made a very big error at work. It's one of my one jobs, which is when we record, which we generally do remotely. It's one of my one jobs, other than just talking, is to hit record. And I failed to do this. I failed to do this on my first recording back from traveling with a guest, lovely guest who was so gracious and continues to be about the whole thing. She's
Incredibly patient woman.
a very, very woman, and she's one of my now favorite people. However, afterwards, I was obviously mortified, gutted. It was, by the way, guys, 38 minutes into the conversation. It wasn't like, oh, we're only 7 minutes in.
No.
Let's just reel it back.
We're near the end. We're
near the end.
And
it had been a great chat. Been a really good chat as well.
But do you know what? To be fair to you, Bean, you were jet lagged, and I should have noticed. I should have said, because I see up the top a little flashing red dot with how long we've been talking for, and it wasn't there, was it? I didn't notice.
It wasn't there. So anyway,
it was a cluster.
An absolute cluster, and I was so horrified and so gutted and just really kicking myself. But then I did say to you, Maddie, in the midst of my feeling awful, I was like, you never know. Maybe it's happened for a reason. Maybe it's happened for a reason. We don't know what the reason is yet, but that's the solace that I'm going to give myself, because maybe it has happened for a reason. And you know what, guys? Today we found out the reason. It did happen for a reason.
It actually did have it. So we would have had to have re-recorded it anyway. Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's actually quite good. That's actually quite good, because now our incredible guest already knows that we have to redo it. That's already locked in. So if we all thought it was tickety-boo, that we'd recorded it and it was good to go, how annoying for her to then go back into her inbox a week later, say, actually, do you mind if we have another hour of your time tomorrow?
Yeah, right.
A week before Christmas.
I know, exactly. So, and what's more, I think it would have been a worse off situation on the whole if we'd been like, great, we've done it, let's go with this one, and then to find out after for everybody. We knew in the moment we'd stuffed it. I'd stuffed it.
So there was
we knew in the moment it was stuffed.
Exactly. So there was no feeling of like, oh, great, another fantastic one in the bag. We can now start to wrap up for Christmas. Because we would have been having that feeling of like, now we can start ticking everything off and starting to get in holiday mode. But no, we weren't like that. No, we finished that podcast and we were like, let's set aside a bit more time because we're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, so we'd all reorganized that, so that is now pre-planned, and we've strangely enough smoothed things over. I'm finding
so actually, thank you. Actually,
you're welcome,
you,
Maddie.
Yeah,
only too happy to oblige.
I think we could reframe this. It's a positive all round.
It's a positive,
hugely positive for our guest, but that's all right.
Although she seems quite keen to have the experience. So, hey, we're just adding more layers to the experience. I like her a lot. I really like her.
God, I like her more and more. The more dealings I'm having with her, which is more than we initially thought. But I really like her.
We're practically friends now. Also, I just realised, and I'm going to have to be a little bit careful as I speak, that I sustained an injury today, Maddie, in my mouth, because what I was doing was I was shoveling in a teriyaki salmon bowl.
Yes, delicious.
Lovely, delicious. But I was shoveling it in at like stoplights and stuff. And in my haste and enthusiasm for the teriyaki salmon, I've gone and bitten my lip, haven't I?
That's a tricky meal to have at lights, teriyaki salmon. Like usually it's maybe like a sandwich, but like a bowl of teriyaki salmon. Did you have chopsticks?
Yeah, I had the choppies. I was doing it with choppies.
Really
yeah, I know. It wasn't easy, but I was also like, as you are aware, I did tell you I was running late, and I was indeed running late, and I still had somewhere to stop before I got home. So
you had to have the teriyaki salmon in the car.
I did. I couldn't be coming in hungry. mistakes.
There's something about eating in the car that I don't know why.
You
It just
hate it.
makes me, I
You feel
hate
gross.
it. I feel like a piece of shit. I feel like an
Yeah.
actual piece of shit, even though it's like, it's fine. Like sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, but it just feels like you're hiding. Feels like you're hiding and shoveling, even when you're not, I don't
And
know.
you
It's
know,
uncomfortable.
I have used that for hiding
Mm. So yeah,
treats and snacks and
quickly shovel it
contraband.
in the car and like,
Oh yeah, I'll get myself a little something for the way home, and no
yeah.
one need know about it. And yeah,
Well, we talked about it before, the croissant and the pies and the instant,
the pastry, instant pastry
obvious
regret.
knowledge. Yeah. When you get out, everyone's like, hadn't had a little pie or a pastry in there, have you?
You get out and you're brushing off your lap and spraying crumbs everywhere. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Well, listen, you're already making me feel better, Maddie. We'll touch on again, like is anybody else finding this hard or whatever it was called the other week. And this is the greatest response from listeners we have ever had to an episode ever. So I just wanted to say it again because I want everyone to understand that everyone is indeed finding it hard.
Yes.
That is a global situation of parenting we're dealing with. Like, it's such a show of solidarity and understanding. And I just think I'm really grateful to you, Maddie, for sharing that. And I know that, like, it does feel really vulnerable to share that because you're like, what does it mean about me? And it is so personal and so emotional, but I'm really glad that you did because it has resonated with so many people. And I think probably eased a lot of stress and anxiety and sadness.
Oh,
And the people who are
totally.
also finding it bloody hard.
I'm still fielding messages and voice messages, which are amazing, by the way. I'm sorry if I haven't responded. I think there's something wrong with me in terms of like responding to messages. I'm just like really shit at it. Because
Well,
I
it's
read
also
them
the
and I
time of
listen.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I read them and I listen and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Here's what I'm going to say. And then,
And to your mind, you've already done it.
yeah. And then I've kind of done it. Like I've put together the response.
And you're
But
like, yeah,
in
yeah,
my head, I'm
yeah,
like,
that
yeah,
sounds good.
exactly. That's
Oh,
bang on.
love that. Yeah.
But then actually typing it out doesn't get done. And so, and like in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, great. I've replied to that, but I actually haven't.
I've emotionally replied, and
Emotionally
I hope that they telepathically received that. Yeah. Also, I would like to say I am quite behind on the old admin after coming back from holidays. So there's a lot of messages. Like, we've got a lot of DMs there, and we read them all, and we appreciate them all, and we will in
Really
fact
appreciate it.
reply.
Oh,
We just
we
want
will.
you to. We just want you to just take a nice break and make a cup of tea and relax and just enjoy the
Yeah.
wonderful surprise it will be when that reply eventually
Because it'll be when you
drops
least expect
back
it.
in. It really will.
It'll be when you've forgotten about it, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I messaged Untidy.
Yeah.
It's like, those business pages that like typically takes 20 to 30 minutes to reply. And like ours is like typically takes 5 to 7 business days.
Or more. Or
Or more.
Also. Yeah.
Yeah.
10,
I was
14
being sort
business.
of conservative,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
way more
Also,
than that.
yeah, also, like, we enthusiastically talked about the untidy. God, this is like, sorry about the admin delay, everybody. Untidy t-shirts, and we have had some responses to like, where do I get a t-shirt? And what I will tell you is, we'll be doing t-shirts in the new year.
Yeah.
There's some things we need to now carry over because we overloaded ourselves. I think we can all agree, and this won't just be us again. We're not just on the knee slide towards Christmas. We are on the chin slide towards Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll be doing what absolutely needs to be done, and then we just can't wait to sink our teeth into everything else.
And look, we're building a bit of hype around the t-shirts. We're going to use the summer to really build momentum, to wear them, take some pics.
We need to take pics.
Just
we don't have any
get
pics.
the hype going. We don't have any pictures in them.
I know. So, like, that is one thing that we need to do over the summer. Wear the t-shirt, take some pics.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
my homework for us.
I might even do a little reel. I might even get some video content, Bean.
Oh, I'd love it if you would. Would you do it
me.
when there's tradies in the house, or
Oh God, yeah. Oh bloody hell! Well, we've got big renos kicking off early Feb, and
what's getting done?
Like floors, kitchen, bathroom, laundry.
So where will you live?
The whole hog. Well, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. We're thinking like, can we just muddle through for a couple of months? I don't think we can. But Art just said he bumped into someone the other day who like has a house sitting business or something, and she's got some house somewhere that needs sitting and it's kind of close and
Oh,
it's got quite a few bedrooms. So we're like,
that
okay,
I
that
think
could be good.
that could be really good,
I think
because
possibly for the
that sounds
best.
better than what I was about to suggest, which was
Mm,
erect a yurt. You've got all
erect
that
a
grass
yurt.
out there,
That's
all
true.
that space, and I think that'd be a fun summer thing to
Be a hot
live as
summer
a
thing, wouldn't it?
family in a yurt.
Yeah,
But
it'd
maybe
be
house
great.
sitting is probably
Yeah.
a lot more convenient.
But I feel like me and the tradies are going to be just like the best of friends after this because we'll be in amongst for like 2 months.
Yeah, and you know about all of the cults that they grow up in.
I know. Oh my God, I haven't asked him about the. Okay, I have to
Sex,
do that. He's broken his foot. So I feel like he's a bit vulnerable. But he's got time.
He he does. He's got
Well, he's
plenty of
got
time
5
to think
kids,
about.
so
Yeah, no, he
you
doesn't
know.
have any time, and now he's got a broken foot. Anyway, look, it's never a good time. It's never a good time for anyone with 5 children to ask them to do another thing.
Yeah, you're just going to make time, okay? So I will ask him about coming on the podcast to talk about his culty childhood.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'll see where it lands.
I started off, Maddie, before we hit record, saying, listen, I think today I need you to talk me off the ledge, which is why I brought up the other podcast, because I was like, oh, I think that'll just really shift my energy, just because I came in feeling just feeling a little bit flat. And I obviously, 12 minutes now into our recording, feel a million times better already. So thank you for that. But we're going to go there anyway. We're going to go there anyway.
I'm ready. I've had my water. I'm ready to talk you off the ledge. What's that?
Great. Well, I'm just doing the long lead in because it also makes me feel vulnerable. I wanted to, okay, so how do I start? One, and I will put this link in the show notes. Look at me, I'm just avoiding saying the stuff that makes me feel vulnerable. I recently recorded a podcast episode on Unbound podcast with Georgia Vavasor, specifically about relationship triggers. And when I record something, I immediately forget everything that I said. And also during a recording, I also forget that lots of people are going to listen to the thing that I've said. And so apparently I was very vulnerable and honest in that recording. And then I kept getting messages from people going, oh, thanks so much. Like, you were so brave. And when people use the word brave.
Oh, brave.
like when you've been in a bikini on social media and like, oh, you're so brave. And you're like, oh.
Right. Am I? Oh, God, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah.
Have you listened back to it?
Well, I was really afraid to. I was really afraid to listen back to it. When once I heard brave like a few times, I was like, oh no, what am I?
This is not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. Like, have I, we talk about things that are personal and things that are private. And I'm like, did I go too private?
Did we cross it? Well, it's tricky because we do toe the line between personal and private. Sometimes we sort of dip into the wrong one. But
I have listened back and it was brave. But I think it was also very honest and relatable.
Okay.
And it was talking, because I was talking about like triggers in relationships and things that make you feel really insecure and like you're going insane. And when we recorded it, I was like, we're 7 months into relationship with Pilates partner, and we're now at time recording 9 months into that. Like, I think I was feeling flat today. Like, we have very honest, open communication. And I often feel vulnerable and I cry all the time because I'm just a highly sensitive.
She feels her emotions.
I really do. And now that I've reconnected with my emotions, which took some work to do, well, they're just there, aren't they? They're just right there. They're just right there.
They're there. We feel them.
So accessible.
We feel
all
them
the time.
a lot. Yeah,
we feel them a lot. Just so much feeling. And I think I'm just feeling fatigue. And I think after having been in and out of a marriage, like, I don't want that again. Like, I don't want to fail at relationship again. And I want a really healthy relationship. It's exhausting, isn't it? Having the big vulnerable conversations and talking about your relationship and how you do things and what everybody needs, and being like compassionate and empathetic and understanding of the other person's need, and then having to articulate like where you are and what you're feeling and what's coming up for you, and what makes you feel like uncomfortable and insecure, and like what makes you feel more secure. And you're just like, I'm just so confronted sometimes by the vulnerability that takes,
Yeah.
that I'm just like, oh, it brings up the deepest stuff in you about, because I suppose it's so risky, isn't it? Relationships are so risky because you're attaching to somebody that you're like, please don't hurt me. I've attached to you so hard and I love you. And you have the power to hurt me so very, I'm getting emotional now, like so very, very, very easily. And we need to, form a team to take care of this and to take care of each other and to be really conscious about how we do that. But it's like you have to keep touching the parts of you that are afraid, that are afraid of fear and like rejection and abandonment, that are afraid of not being enough, that are afraid of, actually, I also realized that the fear of failure, of like making another mistake or not doing enough to prevent a mistake. And I think I'm feeling so much of that responsibility in myself to do that. And also I was having a really good walk with a great male friend of mine who I really appreciate, because those people who just can call you for your shit, but in a really fun and friendly and kind way. But so there's some people you can take it from, some people you can't. And I can take some reflections from him.
Yeah.
And he was actually the person who pointed out, he's like, I feel like you're trying to project so much into the future and mitigate all of the potential problems that could happen in the future. You're taking yourself out of being in the present because I think you're afraid of failing. And I was like, fuck. And it's true.
You're putting an enormous amount of pressure on yourself, an enormous amount. That's what it sounds like to me, that he's exactly right. It's exhausting trying to imagine all of these different scenarios, and I guess that comes, I think, with starting a relationship later in life as well, is that like you've been through a lot, who you
too
are,
much.
you kind of know too much, and so you know what to avoid, what are the traps that we fall into, what are the red flags, what are the this, what are the that. And so then it's almost like you go into a relationship so heightened because you have been through a lot, you know who you are, you know what you want, but there's so much pressure on it to be perfect because of that, because of everything you know and everything that you've been through and all the red flags that you know about.
And all the books that you've read and the podcasts that you've listened to
that you've read and the
the information that you've got.
But
you
then
want to have like the
life-
ideal fucking relationship where you like, this is like textbook, like Esther Perel would sign this off, like that's kind of, and you're right. And I think I can be hyper vigilant about, could that be a problem? Could that be a problem? Could that be a problem? Like, oh, but like, this is kind of best practice. Why can't we do it that way? And, what if he's not on board with this? And I think I'm just like making myself suffer from that hypervigilance. And as we know, I'm ADHD. I'm a massive overthinker and highly sensitive, which you get with those things. And also really, really sensitive to rejection, which you also get with those things. I mean, no one enjoys that. And so like, sometimes I'm just like, when I have feelings, like it is just a full body visceral experience, and it can throw me off, it can just throw me off for the entire day. And then I'm just like, it just can make me exhausted. And I would like to say that like what we do have is a really healthy relationship and our communication is incredible. But even if it is, you still have two separate individual people trying to meet in the middle, and you're going to have different perspectives and ideas and history and experiences. Do you know what? It's a little bit like if you've had a baby and you have to decide on a name for the child, and like you and yourself have all these great names, and you're like, oh God, call my baby this name, call my baby that name, oh, I love this name. And then you excitedly go to your partner and you're like, oh, I was thinking about, I don't know, whatever name, Clementine or something. And they're like, oh no, I knew this girl at school called Clementine. She was an absolute bitch, And you're like, and you're just like, oh. And then you realize you're like, oh God, we've got to find a way to like meet in the middle on all of these things. And all of these things where, our hearts are on the line.
But you guys are really in that, because I mean, 9 months into a relationship, that's really in the crunchy part of when that happens, though, because you're in the merging part,
yeah,
where you're two adults who have, are like a lot of life experience, and then you're kind of trying to merge with each other, and you're figuring out where you fit together and where are the kind of friction parts and where you stand on everything and where you can compromise. And that's a lot. Like, that merging process can be really crunchy, right? And but that's normal as well. That's normal. And I feel like instead of focusing as much on what could go wrong, or like how could this fail, or
how
how
do we
could this
how do we
fail because of
avoid having
me?
problems?
Yeah. Because it also sounds like you're worried that like something that you do or say, or if you don't do something perfectly, then that will result in some sort of rejection, or if communication won't be perfect, or that will result in a rejection. But you have so much to give, like so much. And I think being able to get back into the present a little bit and remind yourself why you guys love spending time together, and why you love his personality, why you enjoy each other, and trying to just, I know it's easier said than done, but just forget about the rest for a bit, because sometimes I think like we can all get in our heads a bit in relationships and about communicating perfectly and where we're at emotionally. But sometimes it just comes down to like, let's just enjoy spending time together. Like, do we have to talk about that sort of thing? Like, should we just go to the movies, or should we just like have some fun today and just do something cool and just talk a bit of shit? Yeah, it's hard. Like, when you're so emotionally aware, there is such a downside to it as well, because you think, gosh, if only I just, if
Could
only I
date
had no
myself.
idea. You know what I mean? If only I was just like, yeah, sure, this is fine. This relationship's fine, when it's not, because you know how to communicate so well. It's tricky. But you guys love each other and you love spending time together and you gel so well.
Yeah.
We just got to get into the present a bit more.
Yeah.
And just
It's true.
deal with what's in front of you when it's there.
Yeah, and I think how we were talking to Kath Atkinson, Sex Ed Rescue, which is an episode that came out a couple of episodes back, and she was talking about like when you're having conversations with your kids about like puberty or sex and relationships or whatever, you kind of like breadcrumb those conversations. So you don't need to have a one big whole conversation, full download at one time and the job is done. It's just like little breadcrumbs here and there, and I'm trying to like take on board that concept as well. It's like you don't have to have a whole plan and all of the answers to every single part of your relationship, and you don't have to have massive, big, serious conversations about things in one chunk. Like, you can also breadcrumb that. And I think that's helped my brain a little bit as well, because it's not like you need to have a board meeting and take the minutes and then,
Yeah.
about the
Well,
whole thing.
like, also, it's tricky because some people are more comfortable with those big conversations than others. They do take a lot of energy.
Well, they do.
Those big conversations, and sometimes it's like, God, do you need to have one right now? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, is there actually an issue? Is there actually a proper issue? or am I worrying about something that is not even necessarily the
Yeah,
case
so and
at the
like the thing is
moment?
like there's not an issue. It's more about like fine-tuning the mechanics,
Mm.
of how we do things and what we do. That's all it is. It's just that and we had this conversation this morning because it came up naturally, and he was driving to work. And so but then when he got to work, like I wasn't quite finished.
Yeah.
And we had to round it off very, very quickly. And so I think that my feelings were just still a bit all like, when the conversation was finished, instead of being able to leave it in place, it was really, really comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that was just a wee bit of a case of, okay, that maybe wasn't the ideal time to have that conversation. But then it also did come up naturally. Things just aren't going to be perfect, aren't they?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're not. And sometimes it's like the environment is not ideal for a big chat, but yeah, maybe it's better that it came up naturally. You
Yeah.
can pick it back up at another time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but I know that feeling when you don't feel like you got to a place you wanted to get to, and then you're kind of left in this half in mode
Mm.
where your mind is still like, I'm emotionally there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't been able to move past that yet. So
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
just also like that processing of whatever feelings come up. That takes a bit of time, and sometimes
Mhm.
you just kind of you need that time to do that thing. And sometimes that processing is not necessarily a team issue either. It's a team issue, like it's your responsibility. I'm always like, oh, this is just bringing up a bit of this for me, and I can explain what's going on, and it's not, that's just what happens inside of me. That's what happens inside of everybody. And I know that some of that stuff that's just for me to go away and just allow it to do its processing and run
Mhm.
through and then recalibrate, and I don't need him to fix that. It's just those are feelings that come up in me sometimes when we talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've got
Yeah.
ownership of that, but
Yeah,
relating,
that
eh?
is that
God.
is tricky because if someone is more emotional than the other person, that can be really exhausting for the other person, like, and that only comes with time of like figuring out what's an us issue and what's a me percolate on that and figure that out kind
Yeah.
of issue, and it's hard. I feel like that just kind of prunes itself over time when you slowly figure out like, oh, I reckon he's not gonna quite understand that, or like, that's possibly better for me to just kind of do some analysis and some troubleshooting on my own
Mm,
and just figure that out. Or is it a let's figure it out together issue? And only you know that.
mm,
Yeah. But
mm.
it's not easy. It's not easy.
No, and I
The
guess
merging of two people is a
yeah,
big deal.
it is a big deal. Like, and because we're talking about actually genuinely merging our lives. We're talking about potentially he's going to be moving in, and there's no date, there's no timeline on this, but that's where we're heading. And so I think it's just that's also bringing all the stuff up for me as well, all the like the fear of failure, and then the hypervigilance and looking for things. Because like when you look back at like relationships that have not been successful in the past, and you're like, all the signs were there, and I just thought those red flags were party bunting, and I just
Mm,
kept on plowing on, and you sort of,
mm,
but I don't think then that you're giving yourself credit, when you're kind of like, oh, you should have known about that sort of stuff, for all of the experience that you've had since that time, and all of the things that you've learned and become aware of, and the things that you've healed and worked on, the therapy that you've had, and the time that you've grown and the maturity that you've gained. I have to remember that the things that have happened have happened. I've learned from that. I've upgraded my software,
mm.
I've integrated that, and I'm coming at this from a different place. I think like it's often just a bit of a lack of confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think because we want to learn from the past for sure, but we don't want to let the past control us or
Yeah.
control our future. Like every situation is different. We take
Mm.
up we take little bits and bobs from from all sorts of different situations from our past, but this is still different. It is still a different person. It's a different situation. You're a different person. It's yeah. Yeah, it really is case by case, and you just got to trust yourself and trust your judgment and trust your decisions as the person you are now, because you're not the same person you were 20 years ago. None of us are. We all evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh well, thank you, Maddie. As I was just thinking about Maddie McLean going, God, that was earnest. I'm so earnest. All right, we're done with being earnest now.
I know we cover it all. We cover it all, don't we?
We do. But also, I was just like, God, I've been. It's so easy to talk about like silly dating stories and stuff like that, but I was like, I haven't shared that much about this journey, and obviously, like, there's lots of stuff that's private, but this is also something that's happening for me now, and like happening in my life, and will be happening for other people, and it is untidy, and yeah, I just wanted to share that stuff too, because oh God, it's so easy when you're single and you've done all this work and you've had your therapy and you've done this and that. You're like, oh, I've really got it together,
Yeah, I'm fixed.
Look at me, I'm fixed. I know how to have a healthy relationship. I've really got it together. And then you get in a relationship and you're like, I'm so insecure, I'm insane.
I think you'll find I'm close to being perfect. Yeah. I'm up there.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? And like then when you're kind of aware of your flaws, well, not flaws, maybe just like quirks.
Sure, foibles. Foibles, if you will.
Foibles. But and then every so often I can feel them playing out in real time. And I'm like, fucking hell. I really thought I'd have this figured out by now. I really thought I'd be like on the ball, know how to communicate perfectly, be able to express myself and articulate how I'm feeling really easily. But then sometimes it just manifests in this bizarre behavior in a relationship that I'm like, what is that?
It's funny when you can see it, isn't it? Like when you can
it's like you're kind of above, like looking down, being like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But you just can't not. It's like you're just stuck in this.
It was programmed in there at some point, and it's quite hard. Those kind of furrows have been plowed, if you will, over time. And they are deep, but you're aware that you're there and you try not to fall into them. And sometimes you don't look where you're going and you just stumble right in, But it's funny. I know what you mean, Maddie, because sometimes I catch myself wanting to almost not do anything but behave in a petty way or something and just be like, I'm just not going to talk to you for a while, and just be like, I'm not going to message something, something petty. And then the mature part of you is like, interesting.
I know.
What are you? I see what you're doing there, and what's that about?
I know. I notice you're doing some quite petty things. I can see you having a hard time here.
Yeah.
And I know. I sometimes find that if I'm a bit stressed and overwhelmed and something doesn't go right, my instant reaction is to blame that. It's really bizarre. Like even if it is not his fault, it's just something that has happened. It's like my brain will find a way to like try and pin it on
story. That it's become
try and construct a story and pin it on him. But he's quite good at calling me out on it now. Because we don't often kind of argue, but there are moments where he can get a bit stern and he goes, don't you try and pin that on me. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like he's actually quite good at calling me out on it. And then I'm like, I go silent for a bit because I'm like, fuck you. But then I think about it and I'm like, you know what?
Damn, it didn't work.
I was trying to put it on you. And it wasn't your fault. So sorry about that.
I'm not proud of it. It wasn't my best moment.
Not proud of it. We can all move forward.
You did notice I didn't get away with it, and that's annoyed me.
I know, it's weird. It's really weird. Like I always kind of want to like, it's like a reflex. I want to like blame someone else's behavior for things not going right. And then afterwards I'm like, it was me. It was 100% me. I fucked it up. That's fine.
And now I'm ready to be accountable, but not before I've tried to make someone else take responsibility first. I think that I think that the growth and the maturity is in catching it or even having the awareness to be a witness to your own behavior and and see it from a different perspective, like just have an objective view on yourself. And I think that takes a lot of maturity and
That's the
consciousness.
learning, isn't it? That's the learning that we get, is like, we might still have these same little behaviors that you're like, oh, that's fucking annoying. I wish I wasn't like that. But it's when you can catch it before it consumes, and then you can be like, no, we're not gonna, I still have them. That's fine. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But when you can catch it and just make sure it doesn't consume the whole situation, then
That's winning.
That's winning.
Because, we can't get too upset with ourselves that they're there. That's conditioning.
Yeah.
It's happened at some point. That behavior was providing a solution for us because we didn't know any better.
And we don't that's the thing. It's we can't expect, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to react perfectly to every external stimulus. You know what I mean? To always have the perfect reaction and say the perfect thing and, with the perfect level of maturity. But it's like, God, that's not humans.
No.
That's not what we are. We're very complex. Complex.
And sometimes I think I notice myself expecting that of Pilates' partner. I'm like, why did he say it like that? Or why did he use those words? Or why did he have that tone of voice? And it's like, no, he's also allowed to be human and not have the perfect tone of voice or choice of words in the moment. Don't analyze and pick everything apart and then find things to take personally so that, So I don't know, probably a little bit more just patience and compassion space all around.
Always could do with more.
Yeah. I was talking to some friends and I was like, I guess the thing is that I'm aware of as well with me is that when it comes to kind of self-work or healing or doing that, the personal development and stuff like that, I can sometimes be at best gung-ho, but at worst kamikaze. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is not the same for everybody.
And well, yeah, exactly. It's not, because I find I can only stomach so much of it. And then I'm just like, I can't do any more of that, because it's just, I find that sort of thing exhausting. And so many people really kind of thrive off it. I find it exhausting that I'm like, no, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna. I've dealt with childhood stuff, and I'm moving on from it. I'm just like, I can't. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to read about it. I'm done with it.
I think it's a plunge pool. You've got to get in, but it's quite, it can be quite cold in there. So sometimes you just have to dip in and dip out. You got to dip in and dip out.
It's sort of like you can't just sort of wallow in it, can you?
No. And maybe we need to be getting into different pools when we look at it. Maybe it's just just go for a gentle paddle from time to time. You don't need to jump straight into freezing cold water. And I think I think as well, I just had a little insight then, is that I think the reason that I try and go so hard when I'm something's wrong with me, fix it, is this desire to fix it fast so I can stop feeling I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really work like that. If you have a wound, it has to it takes time to heal and scab over and repair and then recover and then for the mark to go. That all takes time. There's a real process there. And it's just that again, it's just lack of self-compassion, of being allowed to not know it all, have it all together, feel fine about everything,
And be okay with mistakes. Fucking hell. We're all constantly making them, aren't we? Constantly. And it's so much easier said than done because we put so much pressure on ourselves. But it's like, God, it's okay. It's okay. I think we've just got to be a little bit more water off a duck's back with some things, I reckon. Must be a little bit more I don't have to analyze it. Sure. Fucked something up. Said something wrong. That exchange was a dumpster fire, but that's okay. We'll douse
the flame
to move on.
Oh God, it's so interesting. I think like as well, I just need to see he balances me out quite well
Yeah.
because like he is this just slow down to my hurry the fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
And and I need that. And I think like I just need to remember as well, like I just don't have to have all the answers. I can't
No.
mitigate all the risk. A lot of this we're just gonna like find out as we go along. And it's like there's this horse riding terminology that has sprung to mind where I've been obviously overthinking about all this stuff, is that like you just need time in the saddle.
Yeah.
And you know, say you get a new horse or something like that. Well, it takes time to get to know that new horse and for you to become a unit together where you really understand each other and you're working together and,
And
you're
it
moving
only comes with time.
and it only comes with time in the saddle. And you know, also like everything is figure outable and everything ultimately will work out for the best, just like our bloody recording.
Just like the old recording mishap.
No?
Exactly. Well, hey, we've got another earnest one in the bag. So
Should we just like cover off a little bit of light humorous admin just to wrap things up?
I actually
Do you have to
go
go?
and get Milo. I really have to go get
Okay.
Milo.
All right. Well, you must go and be a mother. I
So
will
we
say
have to
I will
leave it on an earnest note.
Okay.
Maybe
Well, I
we'll
will
just
say
tell a little
one
joke
thing.
before we go.
I will say one thing that is kind of relevant is that I was at the Wine and Food Festival recently with Pilates partner. And I want to say a shout out to Imogen who came over and said hello. It was
We
so
shouted Imogen
cool.
out last time.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Did we? No, I don't know if we did because the reason I'm bringing it up, we talked about it between you and I. And I was like, oh, we
Did
must talk
we?
about our listeners in the wild. Yeah. But I
Oh,
wanted
sorry,
to
Imogen.
talk about, yeah, you're quite right. I wanted to mention Imogen specifically because she came up and she said hello and it was so lovely. And please, I encourage anyone, if you're out there and you see us, like, please come and say hello because we actually love it. And it's also so nice, like you don't have to like feel like someone's getting to know you because they know us, they understand our context, they know our stories. It really takes a load off making a new friend. Anyway, and Imogen's like, is this Pilates guy? And I tell you what, Pilates guy couldn't have been more bloody delighted to have been.
I
He's like,
bet.
finally, my moment.
Do you reckon we'll even name him? Or nah?
Yeah, we will.
One day.
I'm just teasing.
One day.
Just
We
teasing
should have
now.
like a little naming ceremony.
Naming ceremony. Oh, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
that could
what's
be
also quite
fun.
nice is I'll wrap this up. Oh, Imogen, you were going to tell me who your cleaner was. Just, I'm just going to use this method to contact you and be like, please DM me the name of your cleaner. I can't bear
Imogen,
cleaning my
who's your
shower.
cleaner? Let us know.
Tell us the cleaner. Yeah, in our family, we have what's called a family fish tank. What's called a family fish tank? It's a family fish tank. Anyway, everyone in the family gets to choose a fish and put it in the family fish tank. So when Pilates partner is able to have a fish in the family fish tank, that might be part of the naming ceremony.
Okay, that'll be a whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
Oh, God, I feel another reel coming on. Video content. Okay, I really have to go.
You must go. All right.
I've got to get my child.
Okay, well, listen, lots of love. We'll carry everything we meant to talk about
Lots
over.
of love. Hey, great energy reset. And look, we're fixed.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We live to see another perfect day.
Finally, we fixed it fast. All right, Maddie, you take care. Take care out there, everybody. Lots of love.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Untidy. If you enjoyed it, we'd love your support to keep making the show. The best thing you can do to help is subscribe by hitting follow in your podcast app and leaving us a little 5-star review. You can also now watch and subscribe on YouTube and check out how these millennials are keeping up with the cool kids on TikTok and the gram. Lastly, please share this podcast with your mates. It means that we can keep building this supportive community, keep giving you untidy episodes, and just keep doing what we love to do.
Don't forget to check out mybigmoments.com for kids' books that make your tricky job of parenting a whole lot easier. Untidy listeners get a discount at checkout, so just pop in Untidy for 10% off your order. Lastly, we would like to thank all of the good people who make this podcast possible. Flicker Williams and Joe Rocker at My Big Moments for the beautiful artwork and design, Maxine London Creative for editing this episode, and Lana Byrne for creating our social content. And to you, our listeners, Araha nui, take care. We'll see you soon.